So in his closing keynote, cybersecurity pioneer and mssp founder, Mr. Philip D'Souza, will reveal the key security services that will help you dominate the MSP market. He's got 30 plus years of experience, and he understands the risks, challenges, and opportunities of branding yourself as a cybersecurity expert. Please welcome to the stage Philip D'Souza, President of Aurora.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Closing remarks. Usually, ladies and gentlemen, the party planner calls on me at the end of the evening because my singing has been known to clear a dance floor faster than a fire alarm. So I think Jay-Z's sending you a subtle message by having me doing closing, but thank you for having me here. It's only yesterday that we were talking to Adam and to Aaron from TMT. There were questions in the room, and here we are at closing remarks. Give me a few minutes to vent, if that's okay with you. Every time I hear the question presented, there's a new administration. Heck yeah, there's a new administration, but I promise you it's good times only for one reason. Dell Tech, even before the election results, announced that defense spending is going to be up 10%, at least. Yesterday, I think it was Aaron that alluded to the fact that PE money is coming in, right? So every time you see the Fed's rate go down a few basis points, more PE money, that means more spending on infrastructure and IT. Add to that 60 million 60,000, sorry, didn't mean to scare you. 60,000 cybersecurity jobs still open. We're still in a leading edge industry. There was another question in the room yesterday, and it was based on SLI and ConnectWise and service leadership. And the gentleman, I don't know if he's in the room, asked, what's the one thing, right? And we're all looking, we're 30 years in business, I'm still looking for that one thing. Aren't you glad there's no smell-o-vision, no sound-o-vision? But guys, very simply, you hear a baby crying, and it's one of three things. You want to help me? Food, a diaper change, or a hug, right? One more. We've all got favorite Aunt Martha, right? The collector, in this case, of anything frogs. Or in my case, Aunt Martha collects cow prints. What do we do when we go on vacation? Look for the salt and pepper shaker that's in the shape of a cow for Aunt Martha because she stands for something. And to all you budding MSPs or MSSPs in the room, my message is very simple. Stand for something. What is the one thing that I'll give you? It's mindset, it's attitude, it's what you're going to take back from these 2 days of conversations to your teams, right? It's not them, it's you. In my case, it's me. Mindset is very critical, and it's easy for me to pontificate 30 years later, but I'll give you a few tools. Grandma always said, surround yourself by people smarter than you. Now, how the heck do we figure out who's smarter than us? Those resumes look really good. My secret weapon? Has anyone read this book? Wow. Someone? Anyone? Okay, so great book written about the simple fact that when you look at resumes, you're looking at competent people. But we cannot test for their attitude. There's no way. This book has about 14 leading questions where you can figure out, and this applies to ex-spouses, ex-friends, and everything else, and you hire right in the first place, right? It's a great book about asking the right questions to hire the people, the rock stars around you, and I'll come back to rock stars in a minute. Okay, thank you for allowing me to vent. That's answering all the questions. I am Philip D'Souza, as Michael said. I started Aurora 32 years ago, sold the company 2 years back, and about 20 years into running Aurora, I had this one moment where we're doing fine. We're running almost a country club, and they actually said that to me. And we're tracking at about 8 million, and all is well, and I would have died with two things, happiness and my boots on, right? Just I mean, when I started Aurora, I had a Motorola cell phone. My wife's 27 hours in labor, and the nurse had to physically remove me from the room because I'm answering questions about whatever, laser printers or something else, right? But the one thing I did right, my one thing, was connect with a peer group. And Ingram has masterminds. And these are fellow IT, MSPs, MSSPs, VARs, and they put us in the room together for 2 days every quarter, and we share everything. We share profits, losses, competitors, private and personal and professional information. And it was probably the best thing I did was to get this board of advisors that then helped me to track from 8 million to 32 million in 4 years by sheer mindset and focus. And I'm not done yet. I sell the company to a Canadian PE company that's focused on cybersecurity and AI. And they say, stay on, this business is too complicated because Aurora is in federal, state and local, and in commercial business. And guess what, guys? The next 2 years that I ran the company, we moved it from 32 to 64 million, only for one reason. That small business mentality had gone. I was spending their money, and I had learned to spend better, right? I was still business owner. I'm still worried about, how much money are we going to pay for coffee? And by the way, there's no bigger coffee divas than the Aurora IT team. But, we did it right? And so a few takeaways. It's hard when you're running a business and it's your money to think outside, and this is where my peer group helped. Please do scan. I'm happy to talk, as you can tell, and connect with you on LinkedIn. Weekend Holly enthusiast, all my degrees are in finance, go figure, and here I am. So what are we talking about today? Nothing that you haven't heard before in the last 2 days. There's little bits and pieces that I hope to bring together for you. We're going to talk about the cybersecurity landscape. We're going to talk about what this ever elusive winning combination is. I'm going to allow you to vent, okay? We're going to hear challenges and obstacles because it's pretty easy to stand up here and talk, but there are real life challenges, right? And you go all pumped up and you're sitting or you're standing in line at United and you go, oh crap, here's reality hits, right? And then everything that I've said goes to naught. So I'm going to talk about obstacles too. And last but not least, we're going to see what the successful model looks like. Okay, so here goes. One more beautifully designed slide to impress you, right? You've seen this, right? You talk about the landscape, assess your needs, evaluate your offering, build strong relationships, rinse and repeat. Been there, you've seen this. Open up any MSSP playbook, that's page 1. If you are not seeing this, you're not opening the right playbooks, and my first piece of advice is start here, right? This is absolutely right. You know this already. I am preaching to the choir. I'm going to move gears just for a quick second. And you've heard, again, especially from TMT yesterday, that it is all about your customer. And if you don't follow Tiffany Bova, and she's from Salesforce, a known name in these groups, she's always said one thing: talk to your customer, and they're going to give you your sales plan for the next 5 years. It was repeated again and again in the last 2 sessions here. It's what your customer wants. Someone asked the panelist, should I customize my MSSP offerings? Heck yes, right? Or at least pretend to. Make that customer feel wanted. Now, Tiffany Bova says, talk to your customer, right? Do your QBRs, whatever form you want to talk about it. Go to coffee, donuts, bring in, collaborate, and get your customers in. Having said that, guys, here's what Henry Ford said. If I talked to my customers, they would have asked for a faster horse, right? So your life is in between these 2 slides, and I am done. How the heck are we going to start spelling AI for customers who probably don't even know where to begin? Right? Leave alone quantum computing, right? Which is coming in 2 or 3 years, much faster than you think. A quick story about what your customer wants. Traditionally, and I'm going to pick New York, don't judge me here. But there's a guy who's been at this for about 20 years. He opens a newspaper. He figures out it's going to rain at about 3 o'clock in New York City. Goes down to Chinatown, picks up $2 umbrellas, shows up at Times Square, where promptly at 3 o'clock it starts raining, and there he is with his $2 umbrellas, selling them at $10 a pop, right? Very typical story. It's, hey, I'm at the right place at the right time with the right product. It's what your economics books, page 1 told you. Well, speaking of faster horses, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to take that dream away from you. There's a millennial at Times Square today. Her phone, maybe an iPhone 16, has already told her it's going to rain at 3 o'clock on the weather forecast. Amazon has already said, hey, what do you want? And she's like, I want a purple umbrella with pink polka dots, and there's a drone that's going to drop it to her. That is what you're up against. It's what your customers want. Let's go a little deeper. And for me to take you on this journey of what's about to come, we've got to figure out where we came from, right? So commercial internet, cyber threats, you've heard this. Petya, non-Petya, WannaCry, ransomware. Anjali's session talked about smarter ransomware. The best one I've heard yet, and tell me if anyone of you have seen this, a phishing attack that actually had a thread of conversations between me and my CFO, going back a week, talking about this customer that we're going to pay, with the final email over to the CFO that says, hey, you know what, check this thread, Philip has agreed, send the 30,000. That's AI for you, right? Took a few seconds to draft it up and send it out. Has anyone seen that level of sophistication? You have, right? Recent? Yeah. It's amazing. It's getting smarter and better and faster, right? And we know ransomware, every year, all the gurus are predicting, oh yes, ransomware is going to get bigger, sure. But I'm sorry, this is not the FUD session of the program, but it's about to complicate your lives a little more. What's happening? AI, right? Everything and everyone wants in on AI. Right, and just made a quick list to talk to you about what's going on, right? There's, in terms of technologies that are coming our way, and I decided just let me look at, I don't know, 7 years maybe 10 at a stretch. So we've got 5G, of course, right? That's here. We've got AI. We're talking about quantum computing. We've got blockchain that's fast evolving. Actually, a department that's going to be named after it. I do a podcast every week not every month, talking to cybersecurity leaders. And there was this one guy who's a scientist who's doing leading-edge commercial applications for cybersecurity and quantum computing. And he said something that just made me pause. Quantum computing is about 2 to 3 years away, and the holdup is being able to stabilize qubits and allow them to be transferred in a stable state. Intel's already sending out proof of concept chips. So the comment he made is quantum computing, when it comes, it's not if, right? It's 3 to 5 years, is going to erase encryption. Think about that for a second. All of us who are about to add encryption tools and God only knows multi-factor authentication is going to be quick on the wayside with the evolution of these new technologies. Conversations, again, that you shouldn't be scaring your customers with, but you should definitely be having. Biometrics, the answer possibly to MFA, right? Today, I don't know, I need an example of a millennial. Let's take my daughter. She walks into a room and she says, hey Siri, hey Alexa, play me my favorite song. And I come from the generation where we were fast-forwarding cassette tapes to get to the right track, right? That's the technology, and that's the same thing with passwords. Why on earth do I need password managers? Why? Forget the Post-it notes. I'm sure there's at least one person in the room with a customer who's got a Post-it note for their passwords. Forget password managers. With the technology today, why can't we tell, bless you, why can't we tell who the person is. The right person at the right time with the right access to the right data. And I was talking to someone in the room earlier. It's the CFO who's looking at payroll at 12 noon at the company headquarters. Check, let him do it seamlessly, right? We've got biometrics, we've got tools in AI today that can do this. If the janitor is trying to look at the same payroll data at midnight in the parking lot, we've got a problem, alarm bell should be going. Where are we with MFA technology today? Tools that exist in terms of obfuscation, right? Go send your data to ChatGPT as much as you want, but let's obfuscate all the PII stuff, right? Let's take away all the company strategy. Let's send it out, do all the machinations that you need to on ChatGPT, bring it back, put the names in, and give it to your end user seamlessly so that we're able to transfer and use AI effectively. This is, I promise, not a pitch for the company that actually bought us, but Pluralock, the AI cybersecurity company, measures the speed, rhythm, and cadence at which you type to figure out who you are. So there's a nanosecond, I don't know, whatever the measure is, microsecond difference, thank you, between the amount of time that you use to press the first and second key, and the third and the fourth, and the amount of pressure that we use, and the cadence. So it's basically speed, rhythm, and cadence at which you type, and how you move your mouse, and they build a very thin fingerprint to confirm who you are. No need of any kind of MFA. This sits on the endpoint, is able to validate who you are and let you into a 99-degree accuracy. I have 15 minutes, so here's a funny story. 2 years into implementation, we get a call from an admin says, your product is absolute crap. I'm the administrator. I just bought this, and it's locked me out. CEO's called. Everyone's sweating bullets, and a little investigation later reveals that this fine gentleman at 10 o'clock at night has inhaled the smoke of a certain green substance, and so he's technically not who he says he is, which is good, right? The AI is working. It's like, look, you're not who you are in your regular day job, and we actually measured the speed, rhythm, and cadence of your typing, and so we're going to block you out. And it goes to being under the influence in any way, shape, or form. Yeah? So that's what you're up against. Back to BOVA just for a second, if you will allow me, right? It means that we've got to move ourselves out of our comfort zone. We can choose to be where we are today and say, hey, look, we've got the endpoint, we're doing our encryption, we're doing our pen tests, we're doing our QBRs, check. I'm doing everything that I've heard all the great speakers here talk about. But it's in this being uncomfortable zone that we're going to separate the rock stars from the rest of us, right? There's, 200-300 or business owners or MSSPs either here or you know of one. And the key is, are you ready to engage? And you don't, and I'll talk about collaboration in a minute. You don't have to be the local subject matter expert on any of this stuff. With Blair Dawson in the room. Where are you? There you are, right? I'm volunteering you. Put her in front of your customers. Have a conversation about GRC, right? It's the best cup of coffee. Blair works for a cup of coffee. It's the best. If you haven't done it, do it, right? Talk about all the laws, the compliance that's coming your way. And this is where the GRC conversations are supposed to be had with your customers. Bring in the subject matter experts on AI. Bring in subject matter experts on encryption, on privacy. GDPR, I'll come to GDPR. Too many acronyms, Blair. Way too many acronyms. Okay, so what do? Boy, do we know what you do, right? Our menus as MSSPs beats the local diner, right? You do it all. We got it, right? We understand that each one of us are competing with our customers for this long list of stuff. By the way, again, note to self, I'm hoping all of you are offering this to your customers. If you're not, this is stage one, right? Now, what does step 2 look like? What is rock star status? I started with client education, right? That's basic. Have those conversations. If you don't, ladies and gentlemen, your customer is going to fill that void, I promise you, with some information, And that's going to be worse than reality, right? So it's better that you actually have this conversation. Let's talk about automation, orchestration. These AI tools exist for incident response, for threat intelligence. Amazing that, I could not have scripted this better, but there was actually a question in the last panel. Should I customize my solutions for, Chris, I think that came to you, right? And your answer was yes. Heck yes, right? Just customize solutions, that's where we're going. I talked about collaboration, information sharing. Do what Starbucks and your favorite coffee shop does, right? Or the food court at the mall. Let's put a bunch of IT providers together, collaborate, MSSPs together, share information. Your growth lies in that. Times are changing where collaboration is key, information sharing is key to taking you to that next level. We talked about compliance, alignment, right? And I'll come to that in obstacles in a minute. And whatever they said earlier, dog food, caviar, Kool-Aid, drink it, eat it, simulate it, right? Let your customers see what the what-ifs are. How many times was the word cyber insurance mentioned in the last 2 days? If I had $1, I could probably retire. Here's the best answer to cure any possible sinuses your customers could have on cyber insurance. Introduce them to one customer who has had their cyber claim rejected after doing everything right. Okay? It's a tough world. Insurance companies, and Blair, I may be taking away from your domain here, but you've got to check 300 boxes standing on your head in zero gravity on a full moon with a high tide to be able to get that claim in. And we've got all kinds of horror stories of claims being rejected because someone forgot something. Cyber insurance was, for a very brief period of time, pay your $10 and get a policy. It no longer is. You need the subject matter experts in the room to make sure that you're fully compliant when you're placing that policy. So this is what that next level of winning combination looks like, and really, it honestly doesn't have anything to do with your menu. It has more to do with your mindset and what you're offering your customers. I'm going to grieve with you, for lack of a better word, right? Do we have problems? Absolutely. 60,000 cybersecurity jobs, vacancies wide open. Just now, hopefully, I've introduced you to a couple of acronyms that you may or may not have heard of in the beginning of this meeting, right? Ever-evolving landscape. We talked about culture, very important. The mindset of your team, your group. GRC. What did we talk about, Blair? We talked about PCI, that's low-hanging. We talked about HIPAA. We talked about GDPR, which, by the way, Europe has down to a science. And this is not where I tell you about my favorite vacation to, the south of Italy. But anywhere in Europe, you pull up and try to get to a website, and the experience is uniform. It's uniform. It's like, look, do you want us to catch your information? Do you want to accept the cookies or not? It's not, maybe, if, when. It's a very uniform experience. When we had a session with Blair and our customers, the one thing that she said that it still rings true is that 50 states have 50 different definitions of PII. Does that still hold good? Yeah. 50 states with 50 definitions of PII. That's what you're up against when it comes to GRC. Now, California has started with CCPA and CPRA. CCPA in 2018, CPRA in 2020, right? And this is purely privacy. This is something that you need to take to your customers and say, if you're in California, hey, are we compliant, right? CMMC was mentioned today, right? Guess what? The DoD is now putting on every contract. Any Fed contractors in the room? You may attest to this, but on every contract, it says you have to be CMMC compliant. It's in small print because they're not enforcing it, and they will. Okay, so CMMC is another piece of low-hanging fruit that you can talk to your customers about. Add to that CUI. Help me. CUI is controlled unclassified information. It says that if we're transferring information, and again, this is mainly with the feds, I will come to you in 1 second, that the information should be with a US citizen, right? So there goes all our level 2 support from India. Yes?
Yeah, it's not live yet.
It's
so-
not live.
It's not live yet, so it's not coming in the DoD contract today. It will be coming after December 16th.
It is not enforced yet.
It is
Right?
not.
It's not enforced yet. They're getting ready. So we're seeing contracts that say CMMC potential, and that's getting us ready, right? So communication and misalignment. So these are obstacles. I'm with you on this solidly, and you have to work around this, and I'm not saying path to that next level will be easy, but this is what it looks like. We're no longer talking about the perfect SLA and pricing strategies, because I hope you have that under control. Tools, teams, techniques, that's your processes and everything else that you need to do, and your automation and your responses should be happening within your organizations right now. Okay, that level 2 there is educating your clients, doing your customization, understanding GRC landscapes that are evolving fast, and please, ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing that you take away today, it's that collaboration. Talk to the guy next to you who you deem ugly competitor, because both of you can capture much more market and do well for each other. I am living proof with a 4x growth in my organization the moment we were part of a mastermind or peer group that we saw that difference. What does the next level look like? You've got your engineers trained beautifully. Your sales guys are certified. They can run your playbook par excellence. Your SEs are trained. You wrap all this around with a strong brand platform. It's about marketing. It's TMT last night, right? It's all about the customer and the customer experience. It's what you stand for and how well they understand who your company is. Aurora was a known name with the state of California. It took us about 6 years, but every piece, every Christmas cookie under $25, because that's the gift limit, and every business card had the green shield, and they knew who we were. Implement and reiterate. That's a simple rinse and repeat. We've got about 3 minutes to go. I'm going to talk about what a brand platform looks like for you, right? Because in your minds, you're going, hey, I've got a brilliant logo, and everyone knows a nice hat and good swag and the van wrapped up and everything else. This, ladies and gentlemen, is brand platform. Do you know who that is? Nordstrom. What the heck does Nordstrom have to do with high-end food, right? But they are able to, because of the Nordstrom brand, have premier chefs show up, and there was a waiting list. When I went in for a cup of coffee this Saturday, they actually asked me, do you have a reservation? In Nordstrom's, right? That's brand platform. That's you creating your MSSP and saying, look, we are here, we hear you, we're here to help. And I think it was Eric who said earlier, you're not providing pen testing, you're providing safety. Right? You're telling your customer, go to bed safe, we've got you, with whatever it is that you need. That's the answer to the brand platform. Anyone familiar with Ternia? The resort up the street, right? So this is Ternia's website. They have a partnership with Lexus that says, come in, spend a weekend with us, and drive your favorite Lexus. Lexus loves it. They've got all the latest new cars in there, and clients love it, and it's any way to get customers in the door. And it says, look, this is our brand, luxury. And we're here, and we're going to look at this right across all platforms, and we're here to serve you, to answer the customer need. So that's my playbook. I'm happy to share it, ladies and gentlemen. And that crying baby, I'm going with a fall theme here. I hope after this conversation, that's you looking at potential as you leave this room. Again, a shameless pitch for connecting with me on LinkedIn, and reach out to me if there's any way I can help, and I want to learn from you too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. That was awesome.
Thank you, Michael.